Driver mode transitions are a key aspect to getting safety. And a significant issue here is known as the mode confusion problem. In mode confusion, the automation and the human driver have a different idea of what state the system is in. That means that it's essential to have positive driver acknowledgement when going from one of the modes lower on the chart to one of the modes higher on the chart. In particular, it's essential not to demand that the human accept a role for which the human may not be ready for. It's okay to request user attention, but it's not okay to demand it and be unsafe if the demand is unfulfilled. Let's get a little more concrete. For example, say you're in a supervised vehicle and it decides to change to assistive mode. A little light comes on the dashboard, maybe there's a little tiny ding, and then all of a sudden you're in assistive mode, and that means the human now is driving. If the human is preoccupied or just not paying enough attention, they might miss the little light and the little ding. Maybe there's a lot of road noise, who knows? And the driver might think the steering is automated when in fact the driver should be steering. Now the good news here is that since the driver is still in charge of driving safety, they're supposed to notice if the car starts wandering out of its lane. But it still could be an issue if the dropout happens, for example, right before a red traffic light where the vehicle is supposed to be braking and the braking is delayed. So it's important that the driver actually understand that it's dropped out of supervised to assistive and the driver acknowledge assuming that additional responsibility. It should be no surprise if a driver who's engrossed in a movie or reading email takes a significant amount of time to re-engage with the driving task. They have to stop what they're doing, they have to look up, they have to look around, they have to figure out what's going on. That could easily take 30 seconds, it could take a minute, it could take longer depending on what their state of mind is and how complicated the situation is. It could also be that in an automated vehicle, the captain of the ship doesn't have a full driving license. At some point, if the vehicles are completely automated, what's the point of having a driver in charge? Really, all you might need is a responsible adult with some sort of lesser license or just a responsible adult. It's unreasonable to ask a human to re-engage with a complicated situation. And don't forget, if the automated system can't handle it, that probably means it's not an easy thing for the human to handle either. Finally, in autonomous mode, there may be nobody in the vehicle, or the person may be completely asleep and expecting to wake up several hours later in a different city. Think about the last time an alarm went off and you turned off the alarm and went back to sleep. That could certainly happen with a passenger in an autonomous vehicle, even if you're just degrading to automated because of some sort of problem with a vehicle. So think about, if you're designing these systems or using these systems, what it means to shift modes and how you can be sure that the human is not only asked to take an additional responsibility, but actually accepts and is capable of performing that increased responsibility when doing a mode change.